Infrastructure and Public Safety come to order. Alyssa, call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater.
Here.
Schnelting. Brown.
Here.
Gregory. Schroer.
Here.
Washington. Weber.
Quorum being established, I make a motion we move into executive session. Do I have a second? Have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are in executive session. I now move that Senate Bill 41 be brought before the committee. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill is presented by Senator Mosley. It creates the CTF medical alert system. We heard this weeks ago. Priority for the senator. Any discussion on the bill? I now move that we vote Senate Bill 41 do pass. Having a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown.
Aye.
Gregory. Schroer.
Senate Bill 41, Senator Mosley, CTF.
Washington. Weber.
Aye.
Gregory.
5-0. By your vote of 5-0, you voted do pass Senate Bill 41. I now move that Senate Bill 125 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill was presented by Senator Roberts, and it modifies eligibility for appropriations from the Waterways and Ports Trust Fund. Also, I believe that we have we want to make this one consent. He's requested consent. The committee can discuss that in a second. Is there any discussion on that bill? I now move that we vote Senate Bill 125 do pass. Having a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater. Schnelting. Brown. Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
6-0. By your vote of 6-0, you voted do pass Senate Bill 125. Great. By your vote of 6-0, you voted do pass Senate Bill 125. I now move that we vote Senate Bill 125 consent. It is a roll call vote. Having a second, any further discussion on that? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown.
Aye.
Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
By unanimous vote, you've voted that to go consent. I now move that Senate Bill number 192 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill was presented by Senator May. It requires any candidate for the office of sheriff of St. Louis City to hold a valid peace officer license within 2 years of being elected sheriff. Any discussion on that bill? Seeing none, I now move that Senate Bill 192 be voted do pass. Do I have a second? Having a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown. Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
6-0. By your vote of 6-0, you voted Senate Bill 192 do pass. I now move that Senate Bill 500 be brought before the committee. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill is presented by Senator Schroer. Designates a portion of State Highway D in St. Charles County as the Donald J. Trump Highway. Any discussion? Seeing none, I move that we vote Senate Bill 500 do pass. Do I have a second? Having a second, any discussion on that? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown. Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
By your vote of 5-1, you voted do pass Senate Bill 500. All right, I believe this is the last one here. I move that Senate Bill 504 be brought before the committee. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill was presented by Senator Black. It designates the Interstate 70 crossing over Van Burnt Boulevard in Jackson County as the Officer James Mulbauer K-9 Officer Champ Memorial 4 Bridge. There is a substitute ending in .02C. Is it C? This substitute combines Senator Washington's Senate Bill 422 and Senate Bill 504. Additionally, we have added the Celia Memorial Highway designation in Callaway County and the Adam Ellis Memorial Highway designation in Pike County. This is what I assume will be a naming omnibus. So if you guys have naming provisions. This would be maybe the target for that. As long as what typically happens, at least for new members, is that some of these, it's really helpful to have them through committee too, so there's at least some understanding of who we're putting into these bills. So there's a little bit of background on who we're trying to memorialize in the state of Missouri. So just so you know, if you have something on the floor that goes into this, I would make sure all the senators know who the person is or that we're memorializing. I think it's typically really helpful to actually get your name done. Any discussion on the underlying bill or substitute?
Just
Senator
inquire
Weber.
real quick, Mr. Chair, just to confirm, the senator from St. Charles, his bill, no part of his bill is rolled into
The
this.
Donald J. Trump Highway is so important it's going on its own.
Okay. You want one big, beautiful bill to stand alone on that one. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. I now move that we adopt the substitute. I have a second. Any further discussion on the substitute? All those in favor of adopting the substitute say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We've adopted the substitute. I now move that we vote Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 504 and 422 do pass. Do I have a second? Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown. Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
6-0. By vote of 6-0, you voted that bill do pass. All right, we're going to come out of executive session. I move that we leave executive session having a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're out of executive session. We're going to go to Senator Bean, who's been waiting patiently. Senator Bean, on Senate Bill 254, we are in a little bit of a time crunch, so everybody knows we're getting booted out of this committee room at 3:30. So just for everybody's understanding. Senator, proceed when you're ready. I mean, you can talk about it as long as you want. You're a senator.
Mr. Chairman, members committee, Senator Jason Bean, representing 25th District, here to present for your consideration Senate Bill 254. Senate Bill 254 specifies that drivers shall stop at railroad crossings for any on-track equipment in addition to trains. Current law specifies when drivers are supposed to stop at railroad grade crossings, such as a crossing gate is lowered or when a human flagman gives or continues to give a signal of the approach or passage of a railroad train. By adding any on-track equipment to the statute, we are further protecting drivers as well as railroad workers. This bill is about safety, the safety of railroad workers, and the safety of the motoring public. Approximately 39 states have already passed similar legislation to Senate Bill 254. All the bill does is add on-track equipment, railroad equipment, after the word train so that drivers have to stop for both trains and off-track equipment. With that, be happy to take any questions. I've got some good witnesses fixing to come up.
Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none. Anybody here to testify in favor of the bill? Proceed when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Corey Henry with the BMWD, which is a part of the Teamsters Rail Division. We're the one that asked Senator Bean if he could bring this bill forward. The bill is to help protect people like me. I currently am a machine operator for Union Pacific Railroad, and we have instances that triggers this on a regular basis, sadly. And it's been kind of muddied over the years when this law was originally wrote for the way it states with the trains, and it don't mention equipment. It's because back then the equipment was a push cart that you just would pick up and set it off the tracks back in that time. And now we've got equipment on the track. We've had an instance in the past where a guy ran through the crossing in California. The lights was down, or lights was flashing, the gates was down. The guy went around the gates and got hit by a piece of equipment. And that guy got sued because the bill clearly states train, not equipment. So we're just looking to add that to it. There's been some confusion in the past year or so, worried about getting the crossing gates to shunt stuff with equipment. It's not a weight related issue because we have shunt wires. That's one way that we can shunt it with, and they're about 3 pounds. You can do the same thing with a pair of jumper cables if you don't have shunt wires handy. So it's not a weight issue. All of our trucks and equipment vary in weight from 10,001 pound for a CDL all the way up to full-size train. That's what I operate, as a locomotive engine that's on 8 flotation tires. We drive up and down the highway and then get on the tracks and pull trains with it. The horns, that's been an issue in the past, was brought up. It's no different than the horns that's on regular everyday motor vehicles. 18-wheelers got bigger horns. Your car, truck's got, horns that's not so loud. Then you got a motorcycle, and they've got a really small little beep beep horn, and those are all sufficient for the intersections. Just like with ours, everything is sufficient for the intersections, and that's all mandated by the National Transportation Safety Board and the FRA, and it's been in process with that for probably longer than any of us in here has been alive. All I'm looking to do is try to make it where people like me are equal to the trains that's on the track. There's been questions with not being able to see properly around a crossing due to vegetation, or equipment being left too close to the track, or material being loaded too close to the track. There is a judicial system that's already set up, and it's clearly stated each state is recommended minimum distance from the crossing. So if it's less than that, the judicial system that's already law now kicks in, and the proper railroad is the one that gets fined for it, because that makes them liable for breaking the standard law that's already in place. If people are not maintaining their crossings properly, whether they're not testing the automatic lights gate system, or they don't have the yield sign or stop signs that are presented at the right height and distance from the rail and the highway, and they're just pencil whipping the paper showing that it's all good, which is a federal document, that too will show. And during the investigation of any and all crashes, when the NTSB comes in and investigates, that's one of the documents that they look for. They're federal documents, like a logbook for a DOT truck would be for CDL, are federal documents, and that's where the judicial system kicks in and takes over. So all this stuff has already been law. We're not affecting any standing procedures that there is. All it's doing is adding equipment to making them equal to trains.
Okay. Any questions for the witness? Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here. And you filled out a witness form. Great. Anybody else here to testify in favor of the bill? No. Go ahead. Proceed when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Matthew Smith with Associated Industries of Missouri. I want to go on record in support of this bill, and just want to echo a lot of the statements that were made earlier. This bill is good to clarifying language that they must stop for anything on tracks, and we're supporting it for the implications of safety. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Anybody else here to testify in favor?
Chair Fitzwater, members of the committee, my name is Luke Reed, and I'm a registered lobbyist for the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry, here to support Senator Bean's Senate Bill 254. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Questions? Seeing none, thank you. Anybody else here to testify in favor? Anybody here to testify in opposition?
Hi, Senators. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. I will be as brief as possible. I've been an attorney for going on 13 years, the majority of which I've represented injured railroad workers and also victims and people who've been killed in grade crossing crashes. I love what I do, but I've seen a lot of things, and there's a lot of issues with this bill that I think is going to really impact Missouri drivers. And it's also going to not make things any safer for the actual railroad workers, machine operators who are doing this, who I represent as well. So really the issue we have is with section 1 or 1 subsection 3 of this bill, near the bottom of page 1. Of course, for the subsections 1 and 2, no one is saying that anybody should ever go around a flagman or around gates and lights when they go down. The big issue with this bill is that it essentially makes, or with this subsection 3 in particular is it essentially makes locomotives and on-track equipment to be the exact same thing. But even the railroads' own safety rules, and I'm talking all of the Class 1 railroads, Union Pacific, which I've got in here as an exhibit, BNSF, CPKC, CN, which one am I missing? BNSF. All of them, they all have rules requiring machine operators to stop short and yield to motorists. And one of the big reasons that was touched on is that they regularly do not shunt the lights and gates to come down. I've got in exhibits 1 through 4, these are case examples that show what happens when the gates never come down for whatever reason. The circuitry is not shunted at this grade crossing. So the gates stay up, and we're all taught in driver's ed, probably earlier than that when the gates are up, you have the right of way as a motorist. These people go through the crossings, and by the way, lights and gates that are crossing are at the most dangerous crossings in Missouri. Worldwide, or at least countrywide, but particularly these are the ones where there are visibility issues, where it is hard, where it is difficult, if not impossible, for drivers to see trains that are actually coming, which is why these lights and gates are required, because it gives motorists 20 to 30 seconds of warning before they see that a train is coming. So in all of these cases, the gates, they either never activated to begin with or did activate, then went back up. So the drivers go through, they don't see the equipment because it's not at all the same size. Generally, it doesn't have the same safety features. I've got a whole exhibits 7 and 8 show the differences, the federal regulation requirements. You know, for a locomotive, you have to have lights and that are able to see 800 feet ahead. The on-track equipment just has to be 300 feet ahead to see an obstruction in the track. We've all heard the horn of trains. Locomotive trains are nothing like, locomotive horns are nothing like on-track equipment horns. So it's just, they're not the same thing. And this is why the railroad safety rules, like I've got in Exhibit 9, 10, and 11, just a few of them, why they require on-track equipment operators to stop short of a crossing. And actually, Union Pacific goes so far as to say, if you look at Exhibit 10, if it actually goes so far and recognizes that the warning devices don't always become activated. And so then there needs to be a flagger, or somehow that crossing needs to be protected. So the problem that we have with this bill is that it's going to lead to charges or convictions of a Class C misdemeanor up to 15 days in jail for people who are just following the rules and doing exactly what they think they're supposed to be doing as drivers, and they're no fault of their own, they become hit. So that's our issue with that. I've got a whole lot more information in the packet. One thing I did want to highlight is Exhibit 5 of the packet. This was a video taken, this is a snip from a video taken on February 5th of this year, just about a month ago, in Kansas City. The high rail truck was going in reverse. The lights and gates never activated. The sedan luckily was able to back up in just enough time so that it didn't get hit. So, I mean, this happens more often than you think. If that car got hit by that truck, then that vehicle, the driver of that vehicle, even though the high rail truck driver did not stop, which you can see in the video, happy to show you, did not stop and goes through where the gates are still up, that person could be facing a Class C misdemeanor and up to 15 days in jail. That just doesn't seem fair to me. And I'm a former prosecutor, so I'm not against charging people with things when they deserve to be. It just seems like we're putting people in a situation here with that subsection 3 in particular that just doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem fair to Missourians. So with that, I want to open for any questions you may have.
Great, thanks. Questions for the or for the witness? Seeing none, anybody else here to testify in opposition? Anybody here for informational purposes only?
Good afternoon. Katie Gamble here on behalf of the Missouri Railroad Association. For informational purposes, I just want to emphasize or state that all of all the Class 1 railroads at all of the, because this question normally comes up, at all public intersections have at least the crossbucks and the yield or stop signs. But mainly I'm just here to answer any questions if you have them, or take down your questions and find an answer to them and come back to you. So that's all I'm here for.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anybody else here for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing. Senator, any concluding remarks? Thank you. All right, next up, Senator Weber, Senate Bill 173.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Appreciate your time. Stephen Weber, 19th District of Boone County, here to present Senate Bill 173. Federally, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has a program called the Nonprofit Security Grant Program, which provides funding for hardening of critical infrastructure and security enhancements for nonprofits that are at high risk of terrorist attack due to the nature of that organization. So we're thinking about things like synagogues, churches, things of that nature. Senate Bill 173 would sort of seek to mirror that federal program. It would create the Missouri Task Force on Safety and Security for Nonprofit Organizations within the Department of Public Safety, which would have experts provide feedback on risks of terrorist attacks to vulnerable nonprofit here in Missouri. Also creating a similar type grant program, which money could be appropriated to through the appropriations process with the same standards as the federal program in order to provide funding for hardening of sites that might be at grave danger due to the nature of the nonprofit. Very quickly, I'll just say that my interest in this bill actually comes from growing up in mid-Missouri and not necessarily being exposed maybe to the whole state, and then coming to the legislature and making a lot of friends that are Jewish, and watching them live their lives and learning and finding out that there are many things that they have to do, like providing paid security guards at Jewish schools, paying for bulletproof glass, things that are standard that I never was exposed to and I didn't understand. And I think in a time like this, in 2025, when there's forces around the world that are obviously wanting to do us harm, this is a really appropriate time to bring a bill like this forward. It's subject to appropriations, and I think it's a good bill, and I'd ask the committee to look at it favorably.
Questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, anybody here to testify in favor of the bill?
I do have a witness.
Yeah, come on up. Please fill out a witness form for our records and proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Kadosh. I'm the Regional Director for ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, founded in 1913. Our mission is to stop the defamation of the Jewish people, secure justice and fair treatment to all. I'll keep it short because I know there's a time crunch. We experienced a quadrupling of anti-Semitic incidents according to our audit year over year. The last time we published, the next new numbers are due out in April. They will go up or down a little bit, but not by a whole lot. And I'm here to take any questions you might have on the matter.
Great. Thank you for your testimony. Anybody here? Any questions? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Anybody else here to testify in favor of the bill? Anybody here in opposition to the bill? Anyone for informational purposes only? That'll conclude the hearing. Senator, any closing remarks?
Thank you.
Great. I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're adjourned.